Okay, so this is the beginning of the Kim KOF13 tutorial. KOF13, not quite sure how to pronounce it. Somebody correct me on that. So, EVO 2013 is over. I didn't do as well as I hoped, but Reynolds, congrats. The true king of fighters. The winner. Now, some of you who maybe were watching KOF at EVO 2013 were wondering, okay, so why is Kim on every team? And so with that said, you know, I want to make sure I get this Kim tutorial done so you can all understand why he's strong and so you can learn how to fight him. Every single video is also an anti-video. Learn the character, then you can fight the character. So, let's start like I always do with the standing normals. His standing A is pretty cookie cutter. There's not much to say about it. It does... There we go. It does stick out in front of his front foot, so it's a pretty decent anti-air, but Kim's got plenty of others that I will show you as we go on. His standing hard punch is a decent poke, particularly after a couple of pokes away. It's really annoying and it can go over some lows. Just keep that in mind. But honestly, you don't see it a whole lot. It isn't cancelable either, so you honestly don't see this a whole lot. He does have a close hard punch, which hits once. It hits once and does 70 damage, and it's cancelable. And you can go into various combos off of that close hard punch. Okay. His light kick, this is one of the most annoying normals in the game. It has a really, really excellent range on it, and it does go into his command normal. Okay. It's also cancelable. So, you're going to see this combo an awful lot, especially if you're fighting against or if you want to learn Kim KOF13. Okay, and that standing light kick is what makes all the magic happen, okay? But in particular, something you should know about this normal is it is not really a great poke in general if you think about frame data, okay? His standing light kick is actually just, I'm pretty sure it's -6. It's -5 or 6 or 7 or something. There's actually a lot of characters that can punish his standing light kick on block, okay? I'm actually not joking. Okay, if you have a Kim player that just likes to really like standing light kick like all day, that just means that you're not taking advantage of the frame disadvantage yet. Oh yeah. Let's try to record this again. Ooh, too far. Okay, let's try something else. Okay. I don't think Kim can punish his own. You know what? Neomax probably works. Depending on your character, you may be able to find a different thing for this. But some characters can actually punish this. And it's something you're going to want to consider when you are fighting against... Ah, who's blocking? Ooh. Bam! Oh, not okay. So I don't think Kim can punish his own standing light kick. Not as far as I know. Let's see if I'm a little closer. Yeah, there we go. If you're really close, this EX upper, this special move starts up really fast, so that'll punish it if you're that close. But the idea is, a lot of characters can actually punish that. So if you come across a Kim player that does a lot of this, you're not taking advantage of that situation quite enough. Like, just as a quick example, if somebody hits this twice... Let's get this right. If somebody hits that twice and you block one and you hit a button, you're probably going to win after he does the first one. Just hit a button, okay? If you hit a button and he sticks out another one, there's a good chance you're going to win just based on frame data. Okay? So make sure you're utilizing that frame disadvantage. Standing B isn't as good as a lot of players think it is. Make sure you utilize it correctly. If you're going to be playing Kim, make sure you don't overuse it. Just do one and then stop, or cancel it into something that's safe on block, or just back off, okay? Don't overuse it because good players will blow you up for it. here. Light kick, hard kick. His far hard kick, okay? This is another thing that causes a lot of headaches, and it's a very, very simple thing to counter it, but let me just go over the move first. His hard kick hits twice, okay? If both hits connect, you have enough frame advantage to actually link either a close hard punch, like so, and you can totally combo off of that hard punch, or, let me go ahead and send him the one-hit guard. You can link a crouching light kick and then go into more combos off of that. Okay, so with that in mind, it's really, really, really good. Now you might say, well, how good is it on block? Well, it's really good on block. Okay, it's actually plus on block. Looks like it's about +2 or 3 or something. Probably +2, okay? So if you actually have them block this, the second hit, and then you hit a low B right there, there's not a lot of characters that can actually beat that by hitting a normal. Most characters are going to have to try backdashing, or they're going to have to try to just block it or do an uppercut. Otherwise, your normals will more often than not always win in that scenario. Okay, so utilize that frame advantage. If you abuse standing hard kick, you'll make it so that as soon as they block it, you have the frame advantage and you can go for more mix-ups. Now, there is a universal counter to this move that a lot of people aren't using. Let me go over it. Okay, I want you to notice that if you are crouching, the first hit of standing D misses. This is universal. His far hard kick, the first hit will always miss if you are crouching. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that there is a particular range that you need to get both of the hits. If you use it from too far away, it's not that good of a poke. And if you're close, then you end up getting close hard kick, which is not what the Kim player wants. So there's a particular range, about right here, that a Kim player is most likely to use far hard kick. Okay? And it is at this range that if you crouch and hit a crouching light punch, or hard punch, depending on your character, it may work for hard punch for you, it depends. Okay? Like Terry's a good example, and Kim is another good example. If you hit a crouching punch here, you will always beat the far hard kick. Okay, so why a crouching punch? And the reason it needs to be a crouching punch is because the standing hard kick actually goes over lows. Okay? Depending on when you time your attacks, okay, this absolutely will go over most crouching light kicks and hard kicks, okay? Okay? It will go over most of them at most spacings. Okay? I don't think it's going to work on Kim's hard kick. There we go, yeah. But like if you try to hit like a crouching light kick there, he's going to hit you with the second hit of standing D, and then he gets the combo, okay? Because remember, you get a combo on this on hit. So that said, don't hit that crouching light kick. Hit a crouching light punch. Most characters' crouching light punch is off the ground and hits in front of them. Any crouching poke that is off the ground and in front of you, for most characters, crouching light punch. That is the universal counter to this. And as you get better, really punish it by actually doing something off of that crouching light punch. Okay. Now, as far as his close hard kick is concerned, it is also 70 damage, just like close hard punch. So whichever you would prefer to use as far as combos is fine. Standing hard kick seems to be a little faster on startup, okay? Okay. So the only standing normal left is standing CD. It reaches, honestly, let's get this right here. It reaches about the same distance as his standing hard punch from far away. Okay. So that said, it's not his most ranged poke. It can feel like it, and it can, just like standing hard punch, it can evade a bunch of lows. But it's decent on block, especially if you're going to cancel it into EX on Getsuzan, and I'll go over that a little bit more later. But if you're like, say, far away at this range and you want to make sure they don't hit any buttons, standing CD isn't a terrible option. Okay, just like every other standing CD in the game, it's whiff cancelable, and you can also on counter hit get a combo. Okay, so that's the standing normals. Crouching. Okay, his crouching A. Nothing really spectacular about it. Kim players should be using it when they're in your face, though. Okay, and the reason is, okay, it's actually much better on block than his crouching light kick is. Okay, his crouching light kick and his crouching light punch are both really, really usable up close, and you can get really, really good, you know, staggers on them, and you can really, really make your opponent feel like they don't have a way out, especially if you use the standing jab as well. Okay. But when you're in someone's face, crouching A and crouching B, just like with most characters, are going to be the main crux of your offense. And let's see here. 1, 2. Crouching B, you can hit it all the time. Okay. It has a really, really good range on it, and one of the things that makes Kim so good is the fact that he gets 4 attacks to confirm with. I'll go over this a bit more in the general gameplay section as I give you some example mix-ups, but in a nutshell, because you can get 3 crouching light kicks and then a standing light kick, because of that, you have a little bit more time to play with your opponent's offense and defense. Excuse me, just their defense. Okay, and there's lots of variation that you can use, especially if you whiff standing light punch and other things. I'll go into that a little bit more. But crouching light kick and crouching light punch for the most part for your offense. Both of these are cancelable. You can cancel his crouching light kick as well as his crouching light punch. His crouching hard punch is more of a counter poke than anything. You really don't see it a whole lot. Unlike most crouching hard punches, this doesn't hit vertically. Okay? But it hits more horizontally. It's a decent counter poke, particularly against other Kims. Hint, hint. And it is also cancelable. And his crouching hard kick has pretty good range on it. Okay? If we consider his longest range normal as the standing CD and standing C stuff, his crouching hard kick actually has the longest range of all his normals. Okay? There we go. So you can plainly see it has the most range, and it is also cancelable, so there's cool things you can do off of it. Alright, won't go too far in there. Alright, now, let's see. Those are his 4 crouching normals. Let's see. Now, last we have his jumping normals. They're all pretty good, honestly. First I'll show you which ones cross up. Standing light, jumping light kick can cross up. Jumping light punch can cross up. Jumping hard punch. Jumping hard punch can cross up and then land in the front. Jumping hard kick can cross up and then land in the front. And last but not least, jumping CD. All 5 of his jumping normals can cross up. Okay? Seems pretty ridiculous, and it is. Okay? But this gives you a lot of freedom to work your offense, especially against opponents that are crouching all day. Okay. Now, as far as his jumping normals go, though, they each have particular uses. His jumping light kick is... I honestly don't see it a whole lot. But it's a decent, like, fake out, like when you're jumping in. I've seen some players, like, jump in with light kick. if they're gonna... It's also active a really long time. Because it's active a long time, you can hit it kind of early, and it'll probably connect. Look at that. Hits way over there. So it seems to have a pretty nice hitbox on it. I personally don't use it a whole lot, but someone that's more knowledgeable about Kim could probably give you more information about this normal. I don't recommend you use it a whole lot, but there are probably other Kim players that have a better idea. Remember that these videos are designed to not tell you everything, but a lot, okay? So if I'm making a mistake, please let me know. If you know more about jumping light kick, please let me know in the comments, okay? Now his jumping light punch has a really, really good angle on it, and you're going to be using this quite a lot also. In fact, probably one of the most common things you'll see is after you land this combo, you'll see a lot of Kim players jump in with light punch. Okay, and the reason they'll do this is because, one, it has a really good angle on it. Number two, depending on the character, you may be able to get a cross-up with that jumping light punch. Oh. Like that, okay? And that is part of what makes Kim's knockdown game after that special move really, really dangerous, okay? And as far as air-to-ground angle, it's probably his best jumping normal. You know, as far as angle downwards, it's probably his best one. Let's see, now his jumping hard punch is very reminiscent of King's jumping CD and of Iori's jumping D, in that it hits high first, it hits up there, and then it hits on the way down. Okay. It has two different spots where it's actually hitting. Okay, so it hits like when the leg is horizontal, but then it hits again when the leg is on the way down. So this makes it a pretty decent jump in overall. If you've seen my King or my Iori tutorials, any character that has one of those air normals that hits high and then low, it's a pretty generally good jump in, because if they're air to air, you'll probably get it, and if they're air to ground, you'll still probably get it. Now the issue with this is that it's not as active on the downward hitbox as his jumping light punch. You know what, I could be wrong about that. I think they're both active about the same time. If you are going to jump in with Kim, I recommend you hit a lot of hard punch and CD, because you're going to get your most air-to-air and air-to-ground stuff off of that. The hard kick I have seen used, particularly in like cross-up sort of setups. Honestly, there's a lot of preference and style you can pick when it comes to Kim's normals in the air. So feel free to just experiment, because there's honestly no right or wrong answer. Kim has much more variation in his jumping normals than most characters do. That brings us to CD, honestly. CD hits almost straight across. It's his best air-to-air, bar none. Okay. Just like all the other jumping CDs, it's going to cause a knockdown on a normal hit. If you get a counter hit, you can get a combo. Woo, Chaku! But this, unlike other jumping normals, like if you time it right, you will get people crouching with this. Okay. There are some jumping CDs, like say Roberts, or let's see, what's a good example? Like King's, if you do it too early, it will miss people. With Kim, you can do it too early, so it'll miss. Okay? But as long as you hit it somewhere near the top of your jump, it will still catch people that are crouching, and this makes it really, really good for pressure. Whew. Whew. Let's see. When you're jumping in with Kim, vary between C and CD, and sometimes A. There are a few setups where you should learn A, and I will go over more of that later in this video. Let's see. Ground normals, crouching normals, jumping normals. Last we have his two command normals. He has forward light kick and forward light punch, okay? Okay, now, we'll start with forward light kick. This, like a lot of overheads in the game, is not cancelable on its own. You can't cancel it to a super, and you cannot cancel it to a special move. So the only thing you can really do with it... Let's see, one hit guard. Okay, you actually can't combo into it. Okay? Because you cannot combo into it, that means it only has one really good use, and that's overhead into HD. Okay? Now, you will see this a lot in tournament videos. you will see Kim players go for overhead into HD quite a lot, and the reason is because it's pretty tough to see. It also has a really good range on it compared to a lot of overheads. It'll reach where your crouching B will miss. Okay, so there's quite a lot that you can actually do with the overhead as far as by playing with it with range. Okay, and if your opponent is crouch blocking a whole lot and you know how to capitalize on HD combos, it's something you can really use. If you're a newer player and you don't want to really focus on the overheads too much, I would say you can safely ignore it and still be a pretty good Kim. But if you want to be a top level Kim, you want to make sure you know how to combo off of an overhead into HD and take that risk occasionally. Now, forward light punch is very interesting, okay? He flings himself across the screen, and I know it's a light punch, but it's a kick. Okay? What you should know is that this whiffs on everyone in the game crouching. So if they are crouching, and they see this, and they have good reaction time, then they can absolutely punish this on whiff. So you want to make sure you don't throw this out too much. But the thing about this move is due to its angle, it's a really good preemptive anti-air for hops, okay? But you want to keep in mind it has a maximum range, okay? At about 2/3 of the screen, it will no longer connect, okay? In fact, it's only about half of the screen, honestly. So you need to be pretty close for this to actually work if you're going to use it by itself. And if you do whiff, you know, something you could do, for example, is maybe charge your flash kick or hands-on, whatever you want to call it, and you know, try to trick them in case they actually try to punish that. Okay, that's something you can do with that. You can also, of course, just crouching light kicks or whatever else you'd like to do after that. But on whiff, good players won't let you get away with that too much, and you can combo off of it. This is part of his bread and butter confirm. Okay, you can cancel the standing light kick and other normals into it. Okay. You can cancel plenty of normals into that. It is a command normal, so it follows all the basic, you know, normal command normal sort of structure. And then while you, as soon as that hits, what happens is after this blocks or is hit, Kim does a little step backwards, and during this backwards, this air backdash, if you will, during this, he has a bunch of air special moves and air supers that you can use, and you can combo off of that hit if you do it quickly enough. You know, there's a whole lot you can do with it. Some metered, some not. But if you're going to be a good Kim player, you are going to use forward light punch. I just caution you from using it in the neutral game too much. If you want to poke someone that's way over there, don't do forward light punch. Do this. And I'll get more into that in just a second. Let's see. Oh yes, one last thing. If someone is in the air with this and you do hit, you can still combo off of it. You don't need to combo into the forward light punch. It doesn't cause like any super complicated juggle states or anything. If you hit with forward light punch for any reason, you can absolutely combo off of it all the time on any hit. So just have that super, or have the quarterback light kick ready, okay? Or the hard kick, whatever you prefer, and you can always combo off of it. Okay. Actually, just one more thing. Like, when they do block this and you go backwards, you can use lots of different air special moves to try to throw them off. There's lots that you can do here. Some of it's super tricky, some of it's not. But what you should know is all of these options aren't that good, okay? If you just fall to the ground like this and just try to block, your opponent can actually punish you. Okay? For your opponent to punish you, they have to predict that. And they have to go after you. That's the first thing they have to do. But they could also just run at you. Okay? Depending on the spacing here, they could absolutely just run at you and still get something. Okay? So you usually want to do something after this, because if you just sit there, then your opponent could punish you. But all the options that you picked there, outside of a couple, man, Kim is complicated. Some of those options are going to be really good, and some not so much. I'm going to cover more of that in the general strategy area, what to do when this gets blocked, because you do have quite a few choices. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let me get into his normal throw. On his normal throw, it does have an untechable knockdown. If you're unfamiliar with passive move, when you turn it on and you knock your opponent down, they'll do the quick recover if it's doable, okay? Now, let's see. When you normal throw someone with Kim, they cannot do the quick get up, and because of this, you can set up all sorts of nasty stuff. Okay? And you actually recover really, really fast from the throw. I know it looks like you're still in that animation, but you recover really, really, really fast. And you can set up all sorts of nasty cross-ups off of that. Okay. Let's see. So, let's get into his specials. These 4 special moves have so much variation to them that it's really surprising how deep of a character Kim is. But understanding these will really, really help you, number 1, fight against Kim, but also just be a super effective Kim and understand how and when to use his special moves. So let's start with Hangetsu-zan. Let's start with the ground one first. Light Hangetsu-zan is a combo tool. You can combo into it, and especially in the corner, you can do cool stuff off of it. Okay? But, if they block this, your opponent recovers really, really, really fast. It's something like -7 or -8. Light Hangetsu-zan is going to be punishable on block by pretty much everyone in the game. Ooh, Chaku! Come on, Kim. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, we have the hard kick Hangetsu-zan. Okay, this one is a similar story on block. Okay, it is also very, very terrible on block. Just again, for completeness' sake, I will show you it's very, very easy to punish. Almost every character in the game can just run up to you and punish this. Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh, crap. I'm terrible at this. See, I don't even have to move forward. That's my mistake. There we go. There's plenty you can punish it with, depending on your character. Just find what you want to punish it with. And there's plenty that you can do. So don't let a Kim player use grounded Hangetsu-zans for you as a poke against you, because those are both punishable. Okay? Now on hit, the hard kick version of the Hangetsu-zan, let's see. Okay, you recover pretty late from it, so if you don't drive cancel it or super cancel it, there's not much you can do off of it. He has a quarter forward kick super, the Howo Hitenkyaku, and that's a common option that top level Kim players do. If they ever land just a 0 meter, a hard kick version of this, you'll often see them super cancel into this to go into other stuff. Okay. You could of course just go into his other supers as well, or drive cancel into his other specials. Okay, now EX Hangetsu-zan. Woo, 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 woo. This is, without a doubt, probably one of the best pokes in the game. Yes, it's a special, but this is a poke. Okay, now, it's super, super fast and has a gigantically huge hitbox on it. Only costs a bar and you're basically in. Is this one punishable on block, Juice? No. In fact, you're actually plus on block. Okay? You're plus, I believe, 1, it looks like. Okay, so notice that I jumped just a little bit before the other Kim. Okay, so you are actually plus on block on this. If they do block this, hit a standing light kick, and there's a good chance that'll interrupt whatever they try to do. If you think they're going to try to block there, you could try a far hard kick. It puts you at the perfect spacing to try far hard kick in case you think they're going to go for low kicks. You can also, at this range, go for crouching hard kick. Okay, there's a few things that you can do if they do block this. Okay, and of course, don't forget, you could just jump in if you think they'll do something else. Now on hits, this does give you a combo pretty much all the time. Not always all the time, but yes, most of the time. You can very easily combo into it off of almost any bread and butter. Okay, and what you want to do when this does hit, assuming you get both the hits, is you want to forward light punch into quarterback hard kick. You might say, why not light kick? Well, the light kick version will actually miss at a lot of different ranges. Oops. See that one? It missed. So the hard kick version has a little bit more reach, and that allows that combo, and then you can do cool stuff off of that knockdown too. Woo! Just play with that a bit. You'll get that cross-up to work. So, a very common complaint is, well, I can't beat Kims who just sort of do random grounded EX Hangetsu-sans. And yes, on block it's pretty bad, and you really don't want to just sit there blocking because then you're giving up the match. What you want to do... Oops. If you have a Kim player that likes to use this, what you want to understand, if you do play Street Fighter, the EX Hangetsu-zan's hitbox is very similar to a Blanca rolling attack, a Blanca ball. Okay? What I mean by that is, it's very easy for you to beat or trade with it if you predict it. Okay? Okay? If you think that the Kim player is going to do an EX Hangetsu-zan mash on a standing or crouching jab, okay? Assuming that he doesn't thread the needle and go in between your jabs, which is very tough to time manually, assuming he doesn't do that, then you'll probably trade, but you could just beat it clean. Okay? See, like right there, I was at the wrong spacing. Over here, it's going to depend on where you're standing. You always want to know what the maximum effective range of EX Hangetsu-zan is. And it's a little bit shy of where the round starts. If Kim takes a step back when the round starts, he's still in the range for the EX Hangetsu-zan. But as I showed you earlier, he actually doesn't get the forward light punch combo on that if he does do it from maximum distance. And then he'll have to do something else. And in fact, at this distance, it's actually really... Unless he Neomaxes right there, he actually doesn't have a lot of good combos at this range. Yeah, he has to spend like at least 2 bars to actually combo off of that. He can't combo another EX Hangetsu-zan there, so... Pretty much the only choices he has at this maximum distance is he has to Neomax or he has to level 2 super. He doesn't have anything else that reaches that far. Okay? So if he's over here, you don't need to counter EX Hangetsu-zan because the worst you're going to eat is the 2 hits, and he doesn't get a combo after that. Okay? When he's inside this range of about where the round starts, and you are here, the range just outside of his far hard kick and crouching hard kick, this range right here is where the Kim player really wants to use the EX Hangetsu-zan. And so your job at this range is to prevent him from using it by using standing and crouching jabs. If you throw these out preemptively, you can beat the EX Hangetsu-zan easily, okay? And keep in mind, it doesn't necessarily need to be a standing or crouching jab. You may have other normals that will help you trade or beat this. Woo! Okay? You may have other normals that's going to beat it. Feel free to experiment. Use training mode. Training mode is your friend. But the point is, you can beat this clean. It's not unbeatable. So if you don't try, then you will never beat it. Try to beat the move with normals, especially at this spacing, and I guarantee you, once you start to put that fear in that Kim player of, you know what, I can't EX Hangetsu-zan all the time, that is when you will have more control of the neutral game if you're fighting against Kims. If you are the Kim player, and you want people to stop hitting these buttons so that they stop countering your EX Hangetsu-zans, just jump in. Especially full jumps. If they're hitting normals at this range, that means that they're not blocking and they're also not worried about defending your jumps, usually. Some higher level players can play some tricks with you here, but at a lower level, if they're hitting this button and trying to stop your advance, just do a full jump and get right in their face. Okay? That would work just fine. Or, alternatively, run up to them hit standing hard kick or crouching hard kick, and that will break their defense down. And once they start blocking at that range or moving too much, that's when you can get back to this and your regular game plan. Whew. Now, that's the grounded Hangetsu-san. Okay, what about this? Does it have any invincibility? The answer is no. Wait a minute, hold on. Did I just learn something awesome? Okay. Whew. I thought Hangetsu-san was low invincible for a second. Holy crap, hold on. I think I learned something. Hold on. Oh, crap. Okay. Does he have any other lows I can test with? Not really. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I do believe grounded light Hangetsu-san is actually low invincible, and when you look at the animation, it kind of makes sense why. Because he's not really there. Alright, use that, Kim players. If your opponent always does crouching B on you, wake up with the light Hangetsu-san. I did not see this at all at EVO, and I expect after releasing this video to start seeing it. You're welcome. Alright, next. Hard version. Seems like the same deal. Yep, seems like the same deal. Looks like that's also low invincible as well. Try to time it late and I lose. Time it meaty. And I go right over it. Nice. Low invincible, meterless Hangetsu-sans. Crazy. Alright. EX version, same deal. Okay. In short, if your opponent likes hitting crouching light kicks or crouching hard kicks when they're in your face, you can beat any of them clean with an EX Hangetsu-san. Alright, let's see. So they do have low invincibility on Wake Up, but let's check high invincibility, shall we? Just for completeness' sake. Nope on Light. Nope on Hard. Nope on EX. So just keep that in mind. Low invincible, not high invincible. Next we have the Air Hangetsu-san. Hangetsu-san! Okay, you can recognize it very plainly by this particular frame of animation. Also the fact that it doesn't go as far, nor does he do the splits on the ground, okay? It's important that if you're fighting against the Kim player, that you do start to recognize when he does the Air Hangetsu-san versus his jumping normals. Now, first thing I want to say, this is a basic system thing, there are characters that have backdashes. Almost every single air special move and air command normal that exists, you can do off of that character's backdash. There are exceptions. For example, King cannot do her air venom strike from a backdash. But if you have an air command normal or an air special, you can usually do it from a backdash. And this is part of what makes Kim so scary. Okay? As I've shown you before, the crouching hard kick is his longest range poke, right? Now you might say, well, EX Hangetsu-san is really good. Yes. But what if you don't want to spend meter? The hard kick version of the Air Hangetsu-san is a poke that will reach over here. Okay? And if you know how to do it instantly, okay? If you know how to do it instantly, then you can really, 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 really annoy your opponent by your effective range. Okay? And in case you're curious how to do it instantly, input a quarter back, and then hit another back quickly. If you do this quickly enough, you'll get a backdash. And if you hit the kick while you're in the air, it'll still give you the Air Hangetsu-san. Okay? Now the versions here do have a difference, okay? when you're doing your bread and butter combos, one hit guard. You want to make sure you don't accidentally do the hard one, because if you do the hard one, that will not combo on a lot of the basic stuff. Okay, if they're grounded, the D version will not combo for most things. You want to make sure you're using the light for combos. Okay? But when you're poking, you want to make sure you use the hard version. Okay? Because if you did the light version at this range, it doesn't go as far. As I said, this is the range that you want to use it, the range just outside of your crouching hard kick. If you do the light version, it doesn't reach over there. But the hard version does. Okay? But there's another thing to consider about these special move here. Crouch guard, check this. The light version does not overhead. The hard version does, and it causes an untechable knockdown that you can use for free pressure. Okay. So, when you are poking with the hard Hangetsuzan, be aware that you might get that knockdown, and you can absolutely go crazy on them when you do land it. Now, you want to poke with the hard, but not with the light. And it's not just because the light doesn't have a lot of range. In addition, now we get to talk about frame data again. Then we have to think about the advantage on block, and this will vary depending on where you are. If you just jump and do this, that's the light version. Absolutely terrible, right? They jump way, 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 way too early. That's a free punish on the light version all the time. What if you're a little lower to the ground? Well, you're still minus a lot. You're still very, very punishable. What about after forward light punch? If you do it immediately. Well, let me go ahead and record this as the dummy. Okay. Okay. Even if you do it after a forward light punch, it's still really, really, really terrible. So, Juice, is there any safe distance, any whatsoever, that Kim can use the light EX Hangetsuzan, the light air Hangetsuzan? Well, not really. Even if you did this as low to the ground as possible, your opponent will still recover fast enough that they can usually take advantage with a crouching light kick. Let me go ahead and try to punish this for you as an example. Okay, so absolutely Kim can punish it, but that's one of the fastest moves in the game. Let's try something else. Ah, I got a crouching B. Proof! It's really tough, but it's doable. Ata! So, as you can see, the Air Light Hangetsuzan, the light version, is always, always, always going to give you frame disadvantage. Don't use this too much to poke. It's faster than the hard one, but if you want to poke with an Air Hangetsuzan, the hard version has a bigger hitbox, moves forward more, and overheads. It's the superior version of the Hangetsuzan if you're poking. The light version is going to be the one you use the most in combos. Keep that in mind. Now, there's yet another thing to consider. As I showed you, the light version is always going to be negative no matter how you do it, but let's try to space this out. If you do the light version right here, this is really, really annoying because even though your opponent recovers faster than you, very, very few characters are going to be able to punish this 100% of the time at this range. Okay? So, if they're so scared that they keep blocking, then do it again. Hard version. Nah, that one was terrible. Honestly, don't use it a whole lot. I think that this range right here, it's okay to use the light one, because even though you're minus, it's really, really annoying for your opponent, but it's still, the hard version is still better. So honestly, I take that back. Don't use the light one. Just don't use it. Combos only, please. Now, what about the hard one? And this is where Kim gets really, really ridiculous, okay? The hard version of the Air Hangetsuzan is also very, very bad if they block it too high. But it's nowhere near as bad as the light, and it's Depending on where this works, you can even make it plus on block. Okay, notice that was really close, but I did it off a neutral jump. Near the top of a neutral jump, it's still pretty bad and still punishable. What about on the way down? Ooh, look at that. We're only about a couple of frames apart now. And now here's a very, very common thing you're going to see. In fact, let me go ahead and set the dummy to do this. So, what happens if you block this as low to the ground as possible? As you can see, the Kim that did the air Hangetsuzan is actually plus on block. The hard kick version of air Hangetsuzan can be done low enough to the ground that it actually grants frame advantage. Think about this mix-up here. First of all, this jumping light punch that's coming out is very safe. Very, very few reversals in the game can actually beat this. There are a couple. I'll leave that for you to discover. I don't want to go too in-depth into the safe jump game. But there are reversals that can beat this jumping light punch, but most of them don't. Okay? So with this said, Kim can get a lot of free offense off of this combo. But then what he does is if you do block the jab and he cancels to the air Hangetsuzan, first of all, you have to block it high, because if you block low, he knocks you down and he can go into more offense. That's number one. But number two, if you do block it high, guess what happens? Now he has frame advantage, and if you start hitting buttons or start trying to do anything, he could probably hit you with another crouching light kick and go right back into more offense. It's really pivotal that you understand the hard Hangetsuzan in the air so that you understand when you can poke safely and when you can't, because this is a very, very large part of his corner game and his poking game in general. Okay? As an example, one thing that you can do is keep in mind that the jumping light punch into that air Hangetsuzan, you don't have to block in between the two attacks. You can do something in between the attacks. Let me try to poke out. Okay? If you know for a fact that he's going to do that jumping light punch into that air Hangetsuzan, you can absolutely hit a close normal, whatever your fastest one is, to hit him out of it. If you have a reversal, you can reversal like that as well. Let me show you an example here. Okay, so you can do something like that as well. You can also roll out, and last but not least, don't forget, never forget, ever, about guard cancels. Okay, don't forget about guard cancels and blowbacks. Okay, you have plenty of options on defense for dealing with this mix-up, but if you're unaware of the options, you will never use them, and this particular thing blows up a lot of players that are new to Kim. So I urge you to understand this technically, as I just showed you. You'll have more ideas of what to do against this mix-up, okay? Now, that was only the meterless versions. I still haven't covered the EX version. Now, let me go over how it is on block first, and then I'll go over how to use it as a poke. Okay? If you just sort of jump straight up and do this, it's still pretty terrible. If you block this really high, you can punish it. Okay? It also has 3 attacks on it. You'll notice it has more attacks than the other ones. Ooh, right there we jumped at the same time. Okay, now for the EX version, when you do this as low to the ground as possible, you'll end up being even frames. I tried to do this off the backdash, and I'm still negative, okay? But if you do it perfectly, on the way down, you can be as good as 0 on block. That, when I say 0, what I mean is you recover from the block stun at the same time that the attacking Kim recovers from his attack. So it's a question of whoever hits the fastest button or who chooses to block or throw at that point. The EX Hangetsuzan is punishable if you block it super high, but if you do block it low, it will be 0 or a little bit negative, okay? And it's your job to try to recognize, depending on the height that he uses it, pop quiz. Based on this height, is this going to be 0 on block or worse than that? Okay? I'll tell you right now, it's going to be worse than that. It's only going to be 0 on block if it's done as low to the ground as possible, okay? But if you do it any higher, it's going to be negative. So hit a really fast button, like a close hard punch or a close hard kick, and you can beat whatever Kim does there if you're fast enough, assuming he doesn't go for what's invincible or go for a roll or something else. Okay? Now, why would I EX when the hard version is so good on block and can be used from so far away? Can the EX version be used from further away? Well, the EX in the hard version, let's see here, let's put my face right under the timer. If I'm right under the timer here, hard kick still works. Let's go a little to the left of the timer. If I'm a little to the left of the timer, backdash air Hangetsuzan doesn't reach in the hard version. On the EX version, it will, though. Okay, so you absolutely can use it from just a hair outside of the range of the hard kick version. And again, notice we're even on block. But the range difference isn't really big enough that I would say you want to use it for the range. If you really need that extra range over here, just use the ground one at that point. You'll be plus on block instead of 0, and it'll be much faster and easier for you to do something afterwards. But the reason EX Air Hangetsuzan is good is because it is fully invincible. Let's say you jump at your opponent. There's a lot of people that when they see a jump at upper levels of play, they say, oh, there it is, and I'm not doing anything. I'm going to get my anti-air now. No, you won't. And the reason you won't is because the EX Air Hangetsuzan is completely invincible while he's attacking. Okay? Not only that, but when this hits, it knocks his opponent into the air, and you can get various combos off of it. If you do hit it low enough, you can do most of the same combo follow-ups as the grounded EX Hangetsuzan. But if not, you can level 2 super there. Let's see. You can Neo Max. It's going to be very similar to this, where if you're if the forward light punch doesn't connect on this, then your combo choices will be very limited. Now keep in mind, what if you do this in the corner? Oh man. If you get this in the corner, then your combos will only be limited by your meter and your creativity. Okay? So landing this in the corner, there's all sorts of stuff you can land. Woo! Okay, so Air Hangetsuzan for Kim is a complicated move. It has lots of different amounts of frame data, and because you can EX it for full invincibility, it can really throw off your opponent's anti-air game. If you keep doing like a lot of jumping CDs, and you'll notice that your opponent like actually anti-airs you. Let's do this. If you're noticing that your opponent actually anti-airs you really well, then what you can do is next time you jump in, what you can do is go ahead and try the EX Hangetsuzan. Oh, I missed it. Okay. It ate the input. Okay? Because the EX Air Hangetsuzan has way more invincibility on it than even most uppercuts in the game. You're invincible for something ridiculous, almost about half a second. So using that, you can beat lots of anti-air uppercuts and most anti-air normals as well. So if they anti-air you a whole lot, on your approach and you really want to bully your way in there, jump in, and then on the way down, when you're expecting that anti-air, hit that EX Hangetsuzan and combo for excellent damage. Ah-ta! Okay. Next we have the Hisho Kyaku. This move is terrible on block. Let's just get this out of the way. Okay? Whenever this is blocked, your opponent recovers way before you and you do this little backflip. Okay? And your opponent can always run forward and punish this. Okay? It's also not an overhead, as evidenced here. You just block. If you can block this low, it's not an overhead. Because it's not an overhead, and because on block it's terrible, its use is mostly limited to combos. Hard version is the same. Doesn't matter whether it's light or hard version. You're gonna get the same backflip. You're gonna get that same punish. So what about EX? The EX version is actually going to be plus on block, so it's a decent way to jump in. Okay. It looks like I'm about +1 on this. Okay, so it's actually plus on block, and you'll win in the war here if you hit your fastest normal. But, okay, he has a lot of really good one-bar options, and this is probably his least effective EX move, okay? I'll show you a cool combo with it that you'll want to know. It's his best one-bar combo in the corner. But, overall, you can use it for the frame advantage if you want, but a lot of high-level Kim players would rather save that for EX Air Hangetsuzan or EX Ground Hangetsuzan. You don't see this a whole lot just jumping in, okay? Because all you really get is frame advantage. But the thing is, the combo you get off of this isn't as good as the combo that you get off of this. Let's see. But as far as a cool combo you can do with it, watch this. This is probably his best one-bar combo in the corner, okay? If we compare damage here. There are some people that say it's this one. But this one does just a little bit more. Another thing to keep in mind about the EX version is when it actually hits, the last hit of it while you're in the air seems to be cancelable, okay? You can combo into a grounded light Hangetsuzan here, but you want to time it really early. It feels as though you're canceling a normal. Okay? Don't wait to hit the ground. Act as though you're canceling the last hit of that. And that's how you get this to combo. Okay? Let's see. And you can't do air special moves instantly on wake up because you would have to backdash or jump first, and neither backdash nor jump are fully invincible. So, let's see. Hyenzan! Hyenzan! I'll just start with this because this is a common thing. So he's got a flash kick. Okay? First and foremost, the light version isn't invincible. And I want to show you this. I'm actually starting the light flash kick there, and you can plainly see it getting stuffed. Okay? So, the light flash kick isn't invincible whatsoever, the light Hyenzan, okay? So you shouldn't be scared of the light one on wake up, okay? But the hard one, the hard one is fully invincible on wake up, and it's the major thing that you need to worry about when you're fighting against Kim players. Okay? Notice that the light one doesn't even have upper body invincibility. Okay? The light one is mostly for combos only. There we go. Actually, I think I spoke too soon. I think this does have upper body invincibility. Hold on a second. I don't think it does. That one's more upper body. Okay, there we go. Okay. Tentatively, I do think the light one has upper body invincibility, but not a lot. And so if you see someone jump, like, from far away, you could absolutely anti-air them with the light one. But if you see them jump, you could probably anti-air with the hard one too. And the thing about the hard Hyenzan is, do you remember when I showed you this combo? And I did that immediate jump light punch, and I showed you how it's safe and it's really, really good? Or should I say, it's generally safe and it leads into a lot of great mix-ups and such. Here's the thing. This mix-up right here, you can also get if you land the hard kick Hyenzan. This is exactly the same. Go into the follow-up, which you need to hold straight down and hit hard kick, by the way. If you hold down forward or down back and hard kick, you will not get the follow-up. You need to make sure you hold straight down. Okay? But when you do get that, that causes an untechable knockdown. And if you hyper hop as soon as possible, you get the exact same great situation as on that needleless combo with all the lights. Okay? Again, another super safe jump in and another great way to continue the pressure. Okay, so the light Hyenzan is upper body invincible. The hard kick version is full body invincible. The EX version is also full body invincible, but it's also very fast on startup. Remember how I was talking about how this jumping jab right here beats a lot of the reversals in the game? Well, ironically, Kim... Oh, beats that. Let's see. Let's see if I have something I can actually beat that. Nope. Let's try one of my supers, the other one that's invincible. Nope, too slow. What should I do? Darn, too slow again. Let me try Neomax. Not invincible. Oh, great. So what's left? Well, in Kim's case, the EX Hyenzan starts up in 3 frames. 3. That's most reversals start up in about 4 or 5 or 6. The fact that it starts up in 3 means that it's very, very useful against people that use certain setups, okay? I won't go too far in depth into it, but what you should know is that if people are doing a jumping attack and it feels like it's timed so well that you can't reversal it, try the EX Hyenzan because it may work against that setup. Different setups have different results, and certain characters can beat the EX Hyenzan with very similar setups to the one I just showed you. Leona has one. Leona does forward light kick and does a jumping jab immediately. She can beat the EX Hyenzan and still force the Kim to block. This is the concept of a safe jump, and I'll go over that separately in another video, okay? But what you should know is that this is one of the fastest reversals in the game, and it is fully invincible, making it squarely one of the best reversals in the game, okay? All you need is the charge, so all you have to do is call it and say, you know what, I'm going to hold down because I'm pretty sure he's going to try this and my EX Hyenzan will beat this. A lot of poorly timed jump-ins are going to be beaten by an EX Hyenzan. Okay? If for whatever reason you see this jump, you should note, one thing you'll want to work on as a Kim player, one thing you'll want to work on is recognizing this jump right here. If you get knocked down and you see someone jump at you, you want to recognize how high they are in the air, because almost any jump they do, assuming that they don't have it timed absolutely perfectly, an EX Hyenzan will work. There are a lot of players who don't know how to time their jump-ins properly, and because of this, Kim's Hyenzans are really, really annoying to deal with because of the invincibility and because of the fact that they start up so fast, especially the EX version. If you are a player, what you want to work on is when you see this jump and you notice that they're this high in the air, you want to say, you know what, that's a free EX Hyenzan, I should absolutely take that. I should take it all the time. Okay? That is free damage if you have the reaction time to notice that sort of situation. Thought I could charge. Alright. Okay. Another interesting thing to note, you cannot do the down hard kick follow-up on the light or the EX version. If you do the EX version, it will do the follow-up automatically. No button presses required. And if you do the light version, you can't do it, period. Notice it says right here, follow-up, down hard kick on the Hyenzan HK. That means only the hard kick version. Let's see. Let's see, what else is there to say about Kim? That's all the specials. The Hangetsu-san is really important as far as learning the character. Let's see. Next, see, 255. Okay. So the next thing we have the Hojaku. Hojaku. Okay, and as I actually showed you with the previous the setup here with the combo, neither version of this super is invincible. I think. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Light version, not invincible. Hard version, not invincible. EX version. Not invincible. Okay. Okay, don't use it on wake up. You're not really gonna beat anything. It doesn't have any lower body invincibility. Let's check upper, just for consistency's sake. Ata! Nope, no upper body on that one. That was the, let's see, light. Nope. Hard. Nope. EX. Nope. So as far as the grounded version of this, it doesn't have any invincibility whatsoever. What it's for is it's a really good combo. You can use the air version after forward light punch in the air and it will combo. Same on the EX version. You can also combo the ground one off of many of your grounded pokes. Okay, if you land a standing light kick, you can always go into the super in some form or fashion. Usually you want to do the air version after forward light punch, just for a little bit of extra damage. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Okay, so as you can see here, the air version, it has a really good ability to beat air normals. Okay, it tends to win a lot of the time in that sense. As far as it actually having invincibility, that is something I'll have to test differently. Let's see. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's see, that's not a good test. Let me just go ahead and pick a projectile character real fast. Let me just make sure this actually goes through things.
Select your character.
Time to operate. Where does it hurt? Oops. Nope, too early. Ah, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't really have any invincibility. Ooh, EX version though, hey-oh. The EX version has a little bit of air invincibility. When I say a little bit, I mean depending on my timing, I might go through, but I might not. So the EX version has a couple of frames of air invincibility, and because of this, it's possible for you to go through a projectile, but if you do, more than likely they will have recovered in time, okay? Remember that the ground version doesn't have any, but the Air EX version does have enough that it's possible for you to go through something, but this needs to beat an air normal, or it needs to beat like some other sort of jumping attack. If you try to go through a projectile, especially a light one, more than likely they will recover too fast, so this isn't really a workable fireball counter. But it does have invincibility, so if for whatever reason the air level 1 super doesn't beat something with its gigantic hitbox or whatever, try the level 2 super. It will probably win in situations where the level 1 does not. Okay? And last, I do want to talk about the super in one other way. If you look at the motion, it shows down, down, back, back, and then down, back, and then come straight across to over. And quite honestly, I can't even do that motion. Oh, jeez. Not only that, but when you actually do the motion, it doesn't always come out, even if you could do it perfect. See, look at that. Did it perfect, didn't come out. So with that said, this super can be done just like all the other quarter supers in the game. There's a lot of supers that have quarterback, half forward as the motion. You can absolutely use that motion for the super no matter how you choose to use it. Now because quarterback half forward is a choice, that means that you can use one of the shortcuts. So you could do instead quarterback, quarterback, forward. That will also give you the super. So you could quarterback, quarterback, jump straight up, and then hit forward and a kick, and that could also give it to you. Just keep in mind there are alternate ways of inputting this super if the way that it's written seems uncomfortable. Okay, and so ground, air, there you go. Now, lastly, you have the whole Hitenkyaku. This super is important for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, they have invincibility on them, both the light and the hard version. But you'll notice that they have different amounts of startup. The light version starts up much faster. And I also want you to notice where this knocks Leona in the air. When her body goes horizontal, she's just about where the life bars are. Now I'm going to hit her with the hard kick version here, and notice how high she goes. Okay? She goes a little bit higher. So depending on which version you prefer, you can create different juggle combos off of this super. When this actually hits, you get a full juggle state. Okay? Also notice, hard kick version, straight up and down. Light kick version, not as high, but further away. Okay? So there are different combos you can do off of this super. If you do, it is fully invincible. Okay, well let me just double check that. Here's that one. Okay, so both supers have full body invincibility. Okay. You'll also want to keep in mind the light does 120 and the hard does 80. So there's trade-offs either way. Okay. They are distinctly different, the light kick and hard kick versions, but they are both pretty good wake-up moves. What you should also realize is this is a really good reaction anti-air. if you're in the neutral game and you're fighting, let's say you're charging hands-on or whatever, and you see them jump, you can totally use that quarter light kick super to try to anti-air someone, okay? And because it does cause a full juggle, you can absolutely... Wait, hold on. Because it does anti-air someone, and you do get the full juggle, you do get the full combo. Oops. Okay, there's way better combos you can do off of that. I'm going to link you to actually a combo video that'll give you some more ideas. Okay, I'm going to link to a Kim combo video in the description that's going to show you a lot more combos than I'll show you. Okay, but that's that super. And last but not least, we have his Neomax. It again has that weird motion. Okay, all right, let me just take a step back here. Let me go ahead and pick two Kims again. Select your character. Justice! I'll get you, evildoers! Okay. Now another thing to notice is if you actually do the light kick version of this super, you actually recover first on block than your opponent. You recover earlier than them, so you can use it for some frame advantage. A really good thing to try afterwards is the EX Hangetsu-zan. Let's see, what else? And on the hard kick version, you are also still plus on block. Okay. And that actually reminds me of something that I did forget. The forward light punch, I'm so sorry I forgot this. If you actually hit a wall with this, you jump off of the wall. And when you jump off of the wall, you can still do the air special moves. You'll notice at some point in the air... Well, actually he won't. Okay, he doesn't turn around. But basically, once you touch the wall, you're free to use special moves. In fact, you can use it right when you touch the wall. You don't have to wait to bounce off of the wall. But the entire time that you're in the air, you can do other stuff. So if they do avoid this by crouching, but they're in the wall, you can still do cool stuff. Let's see. So I'm sorry I forgot that. But last but not least, we have his Neomax. Is it invincible? Let's check. Oh! No, it's not. Not at all. Ow, get tripped. Upper body, let's check. Oh, crap. Ooh, get slapped. Alright, so it's not a wake-up move whatsoever. However, there are many good situations where you can combo into it. You should also know this has one of the highest damaging hits in the game. Okay? Let's see, let's turn on the display. 5, 10, 250! That last hit always does 250, always. Doesn't matter if you throw it on the end of a 30 million hit combo, it will always do 250. This is an unscaled hit. So, let's go ahead and do a quick HD combo. Oops. Still did 250. This Neomax is one of the highest damaging ones in... I'm pretty sure it actually is the most damaging Neomax in the game in a combo. It's one of the reasons he's so good, because if he has an HD meter and 2 bars, he's always going to get at least like 300 damage off of that Neomax. Okay? It does quite frankly ridiculous amount of damage here. Let me go ahead and just try to figure out exactly how many hits this is. Let's see. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. All you really need to know is if you have 2 bars in HD, you're going to go into Neomax and you're going to do way more damage than most 2-bar HD characters can do. At least that is if you have the corner. Mid-screen, you're sort of limited. There actually is a full screen carry for 2 bars. It's rather difficult to do, but Reynald knows how to do it. There are options you have for 2 bars in HD with Kim, and the Neomax is where you want to go, but it's not a good wake-up move. It's also, like, just using it by itself, it is very fast. So you might be able to punish something with it, just like with the level 2 kick super. It's also very fast and very similar. So, you know, just use at your discretion as a punish, but otherwise, save it for HD, because you're going to do a lot of damage with it. So, bringing it back. Covered the command normals, the normal throw, the special moves, the super, and the Neomax. Next, I want to just go over his general game plan. When you are a Kim player, you want to be thinking about a few different things that you can do in the neutral game. The first thing, and it's the first thing with most characters, is a hopping CD, okay? You can cover a lot of space with this jumping CD because of how far it reaches. Look at this, I'm almost half screen away. If you do a jumping CD over here, you'll still reach people, and you can still, you know, run forward into some mix-ups. Okay, jumping CD is going to be the starting point for a lot of characters, and in Kim that's really no different. Now, another thing you can approach with is the far hard kick, but don't forget about all the counters that I showed you, but understand that if they do block that second attack, this one, you do have frame advantage, so if they block this, unless you think they're going to uppercut, you should probably hit a button and try to take advantage of the situation. If it does hit, you can link into some nice damaging combos, so try to practice that link here. Set them to one-hit guard, and practice going into a crouching light kick afterwards, and try to get it to hit and go into a combo. It's really, really important that you know how to do this combo. You can also do it with close hard punch, by the way. It's really important that you're able to do this consistently if you want to be a really, really good Kim. Okay, so we have jumping CD. We have far hard kick at a particular range. We also have the air hard kick version of Hangetsuzan. Okay, and then of course we've got grounded EX Hangetsuzan. There's so much difference here. There's so many things that Kim can attack you with at this range, and it's part of the reason he's so good. This is almost unseeable, and unless your opponent is pressing buttons, is very difficult to counter. But if they are pressing buttons, usually a far hard kick, or a hop CD, or the D version of the Hangetsuzan, the air version, immediately out of a backdash, is going to beat those buttons. Kim has tons of options here, and let's not also forget, you could just walk forward a little bit and hit him with a standing CD, a standing C, or a crouching D. Kim has lots of options at this range, and don't also forget, you could just hold down back, and if they jump at you, you got Kienzan, and even if you're just standing up and you have good reaction time, you can still anti-air with the quarter kick super. You have tons and tons of ways of going on your own offense and discouraging your opponent's offense, so utilize all of those tools. Okay? When you utilize all of those tools at various ranges and you combine that with a fundamental close range game, that is what makes Kim scary, and it's the reason he's considered upper tier by many players. I think a lot of players would say he's absolutely top 5. I don't think anybody thinks he's not one of the best 5 characters in the game, and I would definitely agree with that. Okay, understanding all of this is what will make you a good Kim player. So let's go ahead and show you some of the combos that you should be using with Kim. Some of which you've already seen most of them in the middle of this video. If you have no meter, you just want to go for something basic. Oops, not bad. Okay, go into 3 crouching light kicks, standing light kick, cancel the standing light kick into forward punch. And when that hits, cancel that to quarterback light kick. You get 200. Whoops. Sometimes it's done. Atta. And then to do that jumping jab, hop immediately. Hop as soon as you can to get that jumping jab, and you'll often get safe pressure. And if that jab hits, you can do the same combo, just take out one of the crouching light kicks. Also keep in mind, you don't have to use 3 crouching light kicks. You can use crouching light punches. Anytime you could use a crouching light kick in this combo, you can use a crouching light punch instead, so you could vary it up. You can even use a standing light punch for the first 2. So you could even do this. You have lots of ways of varying your strings with Kim. So make sure you're utilizing all the different string variations that you have access to, and that'll make your opponent think differently about your strings, even though strategically and fundamentally speaking, they're very similar. Okay. If you do land a close hard kick or hard punch, you can do the same combo, but it actually does less damage. If you do a hard kick or a hard punch and go to the quarterback light kick in the air, that does 179. But when you use the light punches and light kicks, if you do just the light kicks, it goes into the 200 territory. Keep in mind, his punches do 25, but his kicks do 30, so the kicks do a little more damage. Okay? Now, if you are in the corner, meterless, nothing really changes, but if you do get a close hard punch or a hard kick, you can combo to the light Hangetsuzan. And if you do that, then if you charge quickly, you can go into the hard kick version of the Hyenzan, and then go into that jumping jab and go into more of the same stuff. Now if you have one bar, like this, basically you're going to want to go into EX Hangetsuzan usually. Okay, you could do this. That's going to be 300. If you do this super here, that's also the exact same damage. So whatever you'd like to do here for one bar, mid-screen, that's going to be your choice. In the corner, though, there's a couple of cool ones you can do. This one does 332, or you can also do this one for a little less. It should be stated that this combo right here doesn't work if your opponent is getting hit low. Okay? If your opponent is crouching when this happens, that air EX Hangetsuzan will miss. Okay? So make sure you don't do this one against the crouching opponent. Now if you have a bar and a drive, I honestly don't spend drive meter with Kim outside of the corner. If you're mid-screen, you could go into, say, you could combo, say, a close hard punch into the Hangetsuzan and then go ahead and super cancel that particular kick super. Okay, and there's a few things you can do off of that. I'm honestly rather uneducated on the combos after the super, but mid-screen, I often don't do that. Again, I'm linking you to a combo that'll give you some more ideas. But in the corner, I would prefer to do this one. What's the one I did? Hangetsuzan! No, not that one. It's, oh, I know what I did. Okay, I remember now. Down, up, and then quarter four. Okay. This is a pretty good combo for one bar and a drive in the corner. This is the one that I like to use. What you're going to do is, when you land that EX Hangetsuzan, you're going to be charging down as you land it, and you're going to hit up kick, and then quickly hit a quarter forward kick, and you'll miss with the the quarter forward kick in the air, the Hisho Kyaku, whatever. You're going to miss with that while you're in the air. But when that misses, you can immediately do a grounded light Hangetsuzan. This will combo, and that grants a full juggle state, which you can then use to combo the hard kick version of the Kiemzan. Woo! Okay, and if you have 2 bars, you can combine a lot of these concepts, but honestly, I just do this. $405, that's pretty good for me. Or you could try something like this. Yeah, it's close to 400, not really. You can try this. Still not 405. I would just, honestly, just do this. For 2 bars, that's good enough for me. Good enough for me. Above 2 bars, I honestly don't spend more than 2 bars in most of my combos with Kim unless I'm HDing. Even then, when it comes to HD combos, you always want to know a 2-bar HD for Neomax, and then you want to work your way up and have some more combo variation. When it comes to HD combos, being able to combo them off of a crouching light kick is going to become very important. But here's the basic 2-bar HD combo that you can do anywhere on the screen. Let's see, let's not have a jump in. Okay. This one is really basic and gets over 700 damage off of a close hard punch. The only thing that's difficult is the drive cancel in the middle. After you auto dash and do a hard punch into the grounded hard kick version of the Hangetsuzan, you're going to drive cancel this last hit into the light kick flash kick. So you're going to be charging down during this move. You're going to hit up and light, and then you're going to quickly come back down and input a quarterback hard kick again. So you're going to get this drive cancel right here. And you're only going to hit twice just like that. And then what you want to do is do a Neomax as soon as possible once you've recovered from that move. If you can't do the drive cancel, feel free to omit it and just cancel right into the Neomax on the last hit. That'll work too. If you do the drive cancel, you get 712. Without it, you get 623. So learning how to do it can give you a nice, good 90 damage, so you should probably learn how to do it. Ouch. Okay. Now, if you are in the corner, there's and you can do that drive cancel, you can do it a few times in a row. Okay, so let's omit the jump in, and this actually works from pretty far away. This actually works from just about the starting range of the stage here. And this will get you over 800 from a close hard punch. Now, what you want to notice is if you're close to the if you're not right close to the corner, notice the drive cancel here. 1, 2. Notice that the D Hangetsuzan on the ground after the drive cancel hits twice. If you're closer to the corner, it will not, so just be aware of that. Notice that one only hit once, okay? And if you do get the one that hits twice, you need to delay the light flash kick slightly. Because if you do it too soon in that mid-screen variant, you're going to miss with the D version of the ground Hangetsuzan. You need to make sure they're very low to the ground when you do that flash kick, otherwise it will miss. But if you're in the corner, this is done for you and it won't happen. Hangetsuzan! So you do this drive cancel 3 times. On the 4th light flash kick, you actually want to cancel to the light Hangetsuzan. This will miss, but you'll recover so fast you can Neomax. This game is over! Nice damage, okay? Also, you could go quarter forward if you want to be a little flashier. Oops. Okay, nice and simple and easy. It's just you have to learn how to do the drive cancel. So keep in mind my motion here. Okay, I am using an arcade stick. This may be more difficult for you to do on a control pad. I would say that charge characters are a little bit more manageable on an arcade stick because you can go quickly up and down and left and right without having to bruise your thumb. But notice I'm charging down, I hit up and kick, and then I come straight back down. That's kind of tough to do on a pad without taking your thumb off of the control pad. And so this is a nice thing about a stick is you can hit down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down really, really quickly, or left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, without, you know, bruising your thumb or having it be physically uncomfortable. Okay? So that drive cancel is going to come really, really in handy when you play Kim. Okay? If you want, if you have really, really good execution, you don't even have to do the hard version of the Hangetsuzan, but you can do the light instead. Notice the damage here. If we do the hard Hangetsuzan, we get 8-10. But we can do light ones instead of the hard ones. If you want to be really, really good at Kim and your charge time is perfect, you can do this. And you get 9 extra damage for your effort, okay? But it's really, really cool. Okay. Okay, and last but not least, I'll just show you a very, very simple 5-bar kill combo, okay? You don't need to, I mean, this is just a fun combo in case you ever have 5 bars. And you do land a jump in, you can kill for 5 bars, so let me just go ahead and show you how that one is done. Bam! Okay, if you are curious about actually landing this combo, the toughest part is drive canceling the light flash kick into the light super, and that is accomplished by charging down. And when you do the flash kick, do it with a quarter forward to up forward like this. Okay, once that happens, input another quarter forward kick, and that will super cancel the move, like so. Okay, I accidentally did a half forward there. Boom. So as you can see, I very clearly overdid it and I did a half circle there. As long as you go from down to up forward, so you hit the down forward and the forward, as long as you have a quarter forward somewhere in that flash kick, then you input another quarter forward kick that will give you that super cancel. There it is. A little cleaner, not quite so clean, but still really good. Okay, that drive cancel in particular is also something you'll see more in other combo videos. Okay, so again, there is a combo video that I'm going to link you that has a couple of more combo options than the ones that I showed you. So there is more to Kim than meets the eye. Okay, so understand that the big thing that makes him so good is his neutral game, the options he has out of it, and his safety in it. On top of that, whenever you land his most basic combo, you get really, really, really safe pressure, which leads right back into that same combo. It almost has a Street Fighter Vortex feel to it, but it isn't, because in KOF you have way more defensive options, number one, and number two, this jumping jab isn't safe against some reversals in the game. And number three, if you know the fundamental KOF game, you can fight him in the neutral game, but you need to be risky enough to actually try it. You need to risk hitting buttons to beat the EX Hangetsuzan. You need to risk backdashing at certain ranges to try to make it so that when he does the air Hangetsuzan, he'll miss. And if he misses, you could try to whiff punish it. In fact, rolling through Kim, running at Kim and rolling at him is a really good idea if you think he's going to do an air Hangetsuzan or an EX Hangetsuzan. Just roll through him. Okay, you have to be a bit early, and it's a bit of a read, and it's kind of risky. But if you roll at Kim and he does something other than sit there, then you might just roll past him and you might be able to whiff punish whatever he does. That's something I do. I'm hella risky like that. But I like to really play with my opponents and say, oh, you really want to use Air Hangetsu's-an? You really want to use EX Hangetsu's-an? Well, I don't want you to use either, so I'm going to roll at you. And that'll make them think, wow, did he just really do that? Play the mental game with Kim, and you can win in the neutral game. But if you're not playing the mental game with Kim, if your fundamentals aren't that great, if you're not that great at comboing, if you're not that good at getting really good movements, like if you're looking at a Kim who's just sitting like that, holding that down charge, you need to have really good movements before you can really hope to get him out of that. Okay? If you are a beginner to the game, I think if you want to learn Kim, I won't stop you. But I highly suggest that if you do learn Kim, make sure you are practicing your offense. Don't hold down back the entire time if you are new to the game. Because, and this is going to sound weird, but because you are going to win if you play people at your level, and you will learn the game from a defensive perspective, okay? Kim has very good defense with down charge or with the EX Hangetsu's-ans, the Air Hangetsu's-ans. He can really run away from his opponent in that way, and it is very effective. It remains effective into the top level of play. But at a lower level, when not everyone understands the movement, not everyone understands the frame data, not everyone understands how to open somebody up with movement, nobody's going to beat this. Nobody, quite honestly. It's very difficult to break a Kim from his crouching guard unless you have the know-it-all. Do you know how to run up and throw someone? Do you know how to run up and mix up someone low when you do that run-up? So that this becomes a, you have to stand up or you have to crouch sort of deal. And are you going to predict that he's going to let go of that down charge in time? There are a lot of beginners who have a lot of success with Kim, but it has more to do with their opponent's inaccuracy and inability to forge a strategic offense, okay? If you are new to the game and you want to learn Kim, that's really cool, and I really hope that you do stick with him and you learn all the cool stuff. But I warn you that if you play overly defensive, you will be curtailing your learning because there's a part of the game when you get to an intermediate, when you get to an advanced level, where you have to learn how to just go in there and get on some really good offense, and Kim will teach you how to play defensively if you are not actively trying to do so. So I just wanted to tell you that before I leave you. Kim KOF13 is considered one of the best characters in the game, and if you do use everything in this video, then you should have a lot of success with him. I wish you luck. The next video is probably going to be Chin. I want to cover the characters that people saw at EVO, so people are aware of their strengths in case they saw those characters and they want to learn them. So next video will probably be Chin, and I'll probably have that done within the next couple of days or so. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.